This is Inside the Griffins. Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Griffins. I'm your host, Rob Morrison, running back coach here at Seton Hill University. Today, my guest is another NFL alumni. He's our offensive run game coordinator and offensive line coach here at Seton Hill. Coach Jamal Powell, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on board.
Coach Powell, now I alluded to a little bit about your playing career, and we've talked with Coach Williams about his path to coaching in the NFL. Can you touch a little bit on playing at TCU all the way up to kind of how you got at Seton Hill University?
Yeah, started out in Houston at a high school, 4A school. Then I was recruited by Dennis Franchon. Got to go play at TCU. It was a great experience for me. Played tackle, played guard, played center. From there, I was very blessed to get a free agent deal with the Tennessee Titans. I was there for a year. Then I went to the Houston Texans, which was great for me because both of those are teams that were in Houston. I'm from Houston, so that was great for me. From there, I left and went to Canada and played a year with the BC Lions, which is right above Seattle.
Okay.
And then I went and played for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, right above Buffalo, New York. Great story when I got done playing ball. Came back to Houston and I was doing a little substitute teaching, working in the schools and helping out with football teams. Called out to Dennis Franchione, my former head coach, and kind of told him that I was looking to make a change, and he brought me on staff as a graduate assistant, and that's when I kind of started my coaching career. Left there and became a full-time coach at Center College. I was there for 4 years, made history there. We took the team to the playoffs for the first time in Center history. Lost to Mount Union, and then also left there and went to Southwest Baptist and worked with a former coach that I knew from TCU named Keith Allen, was the head coach there, was the offensive line coach there, and then now came to Seton Hill.
Well, Coach, we're excited to have you here.
I appreciate it.
And in college football, we're seeing a lot of these different kind of titles start popping up: run game coordinator, pass game coordinator, different kind of titles to define what people do. Can you touch a little bit on what a run game coordinator does as opposed to a whole offensive coordinator?
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, our offensive coordinator is Coach Eager, and he runs the whole offense. It's his offense and how he wants it done. Within the parameters of what he wants done, I am the overseer of the run game. Dealing with the offensive line, you're already right at the point of the attack.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my job to make sure we're executing the blocks where we need to be, making sure that the running backs are hitting the holes, making sure the tight ends are combo blocking up to the linebackers, and then even reaching out to the wide receivers and making sure we're getting up to those safeties. And just kind of being over there, so take a little bit of pressure off of him, so he can focus on the overall scheme and being as great as he can be at that, and then being able to help out because I'm in a supporting role.
Now, in your time in college that we talked about, you've had great coaches kind of help you develop as a player and a coach. From the likes of Gary Patterson at TCU, Eddie Williamson, the O-line coach still at TCU, Jeff Fisher and Dom Capers, just a couple of the NFL coaches you worked with. What part of their coaching styles do you see in yourself, and have you taken from them to help you form how you coach your offensive line today?
The biggest thing that I can say that I took from them is just the work ethic and the passion for doing it. The common denominator between all those coaches is that they love coaching football. They love football, and they work their tails off. I know for a fact I would see them in there to the wee hours and before I came in the morning. And I take that to heart and understand that that's what you have to do to be successful in this business.
Now, what would you say is your coaching style? A lot of recruits and parents are worried about their kids being pushed a little too hard and kind of degraded.
Right.
What would you say is, how do you motivate your guys to play?
For me, it is relationships. Coaching is nothing more than a relationship, just like you would have with your wife or your girlfriend, that you have with your friends that you go and eat and watch games with. It's a relationship. Now, obviously, there's a hierarchy, but trust and respect has to be there. I try to build that trust and respect with my players, so when the times come where I have to coach them a little bit harder, they understand I'm doing it because I want them to be better, not because I just want to jump on their butt to get them going.
Right. Now, Coach, in your time coaching, you had an All-American in Ben Hume. Talk a little bit about how you go from recruiting the player to now he's playing for you, and then 4 years later, now he's an All-American. What's that process like for you?
Well, it's mostly about the player and what he plans on doing with his career. And to make sure that you're coaching the little things, the stuff that they're not so good at, and then also coaching the stuff that they're good at so they can become great. The player has to be persistent, and for Ben, he was very persistent. Every year he gotten better. He played as a freshman, he did not start, and then he started every game after that at left tackle. Very athletic, very strong, very smart kid.
Well, Coach, we're excited about your experience coming here and bringing that NFL experience to the program. We talked a little bit with Coach Williams about playing the position in the NFL and now coaching it. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things you think that leads to you being successful as a coach with your players? Because you can say, look, I went against Javon Carson, and one time he whooped me pretty good, but now I know you can do whatever.
Right.
How does that relate to coaching offensive line?
I think for offensive linemen, the big thing is that there are plenty of coaches that coach offensive line that have never necessarily played offensive line. Coach Eagers coached offensive line, didn't play offensive line, done a great job at it. I love that I played offensive line because I know what it means to play offensive line and not get all the credit. You're supposed to do your job and then don't talk. I understand that and I like it. The other part of that is, it's like you said, when you're playing at that next level, there are some moves out there that you might not have seen when you were in the college level, and then they're coming faster. So it allowed me to be able to perfect my craft, and now I can teach them exactly how did I fix when I went against, let's say, a Javon Carson, he kicked my butt, which he probably did most of the time. But how did I get better off of that? And then how can I teach them to use that on the field? Because they might go against a Javon Carson, maybe they'll be able to, stop that move that he's trying to do.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Coach, we're excited about it. We're excited to have you here on staff, and thank you for joining me inside the Griffins. Now, fans, remember, Griffins will open the season September 5th against Fairmont State at 7 p.m. Our first home game will be Saturday, September 14th, under the lights here at Offutt Field against East Stroudsburg at 6 p.m. As always, you can follow all your coaches on Twitter and Facebook. You can follow Coach Powell here on Twitter at Coach Powell SHU and on Facebook at SHU Jamal Powell. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next episode of Inside the Griffins.